fellow HHN obsessees, and welcome to the HHN Obsession Podcast, where we talk about all things HHN and obsess together over this amazing event. I am your host, JJ. With me, as always, the co-ghost, James.
Ooh, co-ghost James. And with me, the ghosts of the day. It's celebrity birthdays. But best for last is a true ghost.
Should we come up with like a little like ghost of the day, oons, 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 oons.
If you ever want to improvise something, yeah.
I just did.
I'll shake my booty because I'm a ghost. Because I'm a ghost
Aw.
booty.
Say your damn
Hey,
ghost, please.
All right. So, relevant to dragons, McLovin, McMuffin, Christopher Mintz-Plasse, also Red Mist on Kick-Ass. It's his birthday. Happy birthday. Oh, and fish legs, of course, dragons. That's why I was saying is relevant. But right into another legendary voice actor, Tressie McNeil, happy birthday. And then into Gus Johnson of the Gus and Eddie podcast. Rest in peace. I missed that podcast. And right into John Goodman, who was scary in the Cloverfield. Spooky.
I love John Goodman. Love that guy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, last but not least, Brian Wilson, Beach Boy. Rest in peace.
Oh, rest in peace. It was his birthday today? Oh, man. Welcome to the podcast, everybody. I am so excited to talk about today's announcement and topics. There's actually a good amount of stuff that was revealed today. James, did you catch anything today?
Caught nothing but a shadow in my eye, because that's all that gets in.
You see, I ask that question all the time. I know the answer. I don't know why I ask, but maybe I'm expecting. I'm expecting one day you will know. You'll see this big spoiler.
It could happen. Things happen that are weird.
Things do happen that are weird, but today was the Spooky Empire convention panel that HHN did.
Oh, dang.
All the top HHN creatives got on stage and talked about some stuff that's coming to the event this year and what we can expect this year.
Is that where they broke the Slaughter Cinema 2?
That is where they broke Slaughter Cinema 2 last year. And history has repeated itself. We got a house announcement. Spoiler alert.
Slaughter Cinema 3.
And
3D. If they do, it's 3D. They should do that.
Eventually, one day, I feel like that would happen, but not 1 year after another. I could see a Slaughter Cinema 3D happening at some point.
Yeah, that's the next one. Probably in 3 years. Or 30, I don't know. What do you think? That spans, right? You never know.
Yeah, we never know. But yeah, lots of interesting stuff was talked about. Michael Aiello was there on stage. Another one of the lead creative people. His name is Ramon. Not sure how to say his name. I apologize. And then Laura Sauls, I think her last name is. Those are kind of the three head creatives right now. And they did most of the talking. Lots of interesting stuff that gets me very excited. I feel like I overuse that word a lot, but it's definitely looking like a very good year. And I hope I'm not overhyping it. I hope I'm not getting my hopes up like last year where it seemed like it was great and then, stuff happened. But so far, from what they're talking about, we could be having a pretty great year. And I'm really feeling like it's going to be to the level of 32. And it also has a lot of old school HHN vibes. Like it very much seems like they're trying their best to go back to the old feel of HHN.
Okay, I'm hearing old school. I'm hearing, what do we got? Is it an IP or is it a NOP? What's the other one?
A NOP?
Yeah, that's when you hold it in line.
Do you want me to tell you that? Because I was going to save that for a little bit. But do you want me to tell you if it was an IP or an OP?
Well, I don't know if it helps me guess, but I pace it out how you will.
Okay, well, I basically wanted to go in the order of how everything was talked about.
Okay.
And I apologize because I used to do a lot of notes before these episodes, and I've been slacking on the notes and haven't been doing them. So I apologize if everything's kind of all over the place and I get off topic a lot or I remember something later on in the episode and come back to it. Been doing that the last few episodes. I'm going to try to stay kind of in order. And
hey, JJ, don't worry about your flawless. All right, flawless. No notes.
So the very first thing that they talked about at the panel had to do with the tribute store. And a lot of people were kind of joking on like Discord and the forums, like, tribute store confirmed this year, it's official. And everybody would joke like, oh my god, thank god, I was so worried. But basically they were talking about how this year is the 10-year anniversary of the tribute store. So it seemed like they were going to do something big with the tribute store this year. They were overhyping the tribute store this year. They didn't really go into detail what was going on. Nonetheless, it's the 10-year anniversary, so they're definitely going to be doing something fun with it. A lot of people are speculating that the curator will be coming back into the tribute store, which a couple years ago, I don't know if you remember, James, I think it was at 32, there was a whole comic theme with the tribute store, and they
Oh
sold
yeah.
those comics that kind of connected to the store. And at the very end of the comic, it said to be continued. And I even think in the store, it also said that. And they think that they are going to continue that this year, possibly. Also, in the Five and Dime, where they sell the current preview merch for HHN, there is a little display where there's a mirror, and every like 10 to 15 seconds or so, the curator will like pop out of the mirror. It has like this light effect where it's a mirror, and then the light turns on. And it's not a mirror anymore. And then you see the curator in the mirror.
What?
Does that make sense? But anywho, that was kind of the most boring part of the panel, was them talking about the tribute store. Right
Yeah,
after
people.
that,
That reaction was like because obviously it's coming back, right? Like big surprise.
mhm, that's what I
Keep
was trying to get at. Yeah,
keep joking like that. It's gonna go away.
exactly.
It's 10 years. It's a perfect cutoff. Keep being cute.
Yeah, Universal could be like, "Oh, you want to be cute? Watch me hold my Blinky cup drink."
Yeah, I call our bluff. Okay, no more. No more
Yeah.
tribute. They work
Um.
fine at the outside on the little kiosks out there.
So, from what I got out of it, the next part of the panel was Michael Aiello and Laura Sauls both talking about the overall theme of this year. Michael Aiello basically said that the overall theme this year is going to be centered around a place called the Conservatory. Okay. And that got people's attention. Like when he said it's going to be revolved around the Conservatory, you could audibly hear the audience go, or
Hey,
like, oh,
speaking of see the stars.
there you go. Yeah, yeah. But he also talked about how there's going to be a big amount of cohesion this year. Like their goal is to connect everything this year. And that sounds a lot kind of like what they were doing with Oddfellow. So
Yeah.
I hope that's the case. And then Laura Sauls continued with, as you walk through the entrance this year, you'll be greeted by something to do with vines, gargoyles, and something along that nature. And it would have to do with the conservatory. Like everything's going to be themed to around that type of stuff. And she said the word of this year, the special word of this year, is immersion. They are going to immerse us like never before, is basically what she was saying. And I'm scared
Mm.
they're overhyping this because they've done that in the past. But if that's
Yeah,
the
that's big
case,
promises because that's like kind of, bare minimum. That's like what every year achieves is like you're immersed in the thing. That's the
yeah,
goal of.
yeah, that's the goal of HHN, right? That's exactly what I was thinking, and
So they're setting themselves up weird because like obviously you're gonna achieve that, but now if you don't achieve the bare minimum that you promised, like that's weird.
it is
That's
like every year at HHN, we're supposed to be immersed in it, in the scare zones and houses, whatever. But the fact that they're pushing the immersion talk, like
yeah, like that's
if
even in question. Oh.
it obviously has to be better than normal.
Hmm.
So, let me play you this clip from the panel where Mike Aiello was talking about this conservatory.
Play it.
Mike, I'm going to go ahead and start with you.
Oh no.
Here we go. Talk to us about the importance of a cohesive overall theme for Halloween Horror Nights.
Sure, yeah. Here's the thing. The great thing about Horror Nights, and everyone that's been before, which is most of this room, the thing that we all pride ourselves on is that we're transforming the event every single year. That is something that we have held to in almost every single year. A couple years we had maybe a house or two that were the same. American Wolf in London was one of them. But that is something we take pride on. So there is a philosophy that we all take on about that if we're going to change the event every single year, we need to make sure that the book cover of that event or the movie poster for that event is also incredibly different, so that you as the fans, and also we as creators, can get excited about the world that we want our content to live within. And over the years, there have been all kinds of different variations on what anyone would consider the overall theme. And I know as fans, because I read everything, they also have opinions on overall thematics and all of those, everything that goes into that. So over the years, there have been all kinds of different categories that we've taken on. Some years have been icon-based, where there's an icon character, Jack, leading the charge, therefore an environment exists that the event lives within. His circus, his carnival of carnage. Oddfellow, another great example. Where, again, the event itself is able to take on those textures led by Oddfellow, or that character. Then there have been years where the IPs themselves, or some of the collection of IPs, because those are the ones that are marketed nationwide, also on both coasts, that there's a texture there that we know we could lean into. The 80s was a texture we did, I think, in 2019. Yes. It all goes together at some point, gang. You guys know more about each year than I do at this point. This is a mess up here, gang. I'm just telling you that right now. So the 80s, we knew we had Stranger Things that year. So the idea of being able to house the event in those 80s textures, neon, even the soundtracks, all of that kind of lived there. So it's important for us to kind of, when we're starting, define what kind of thematic do we want for this year. So, for 2025, what we've decided to do is take a kind of a step back in what is horror? What are the beginnings of horror? What are the textures that come to mind when you think about the initial horror feel? And Gothic textures come to mind. Stained glass, vines, gargoyles. I'm gonna start saying things that aren't true to see if you're still. So this was an exercise that Laura and I took on, and initially just trying to examine how we wanted to kind of attack this year. And when those textures started to combine, and we'll get into this a little bit as we go down the line, we bring in our partners to kind of talk about these textures a little bit. And a place that we have identified as the house or the environment our event lives in this year is a place called the Conservatory. I'll stop there. I'll stop there. No, we got a lot of panelists, people. We got a lot of. This is only an hour, okay?
Awesome, thank you, Mike. Laura, when thinking about an overall thematic, talk to us about how this year we are working to infuse that overall theme into different aspects of the event throughout the park as a whole.
Yeah, so when Mike and I were talking, and the whole team were talking about this overall thematic, we've been talking about it for a year, right? Looking at these Gothic textures, we really, this year, more than ever, really wanted to fully immerse you as our guests in this overall thematic. So as soon as you cross through those turnstiles, you are going to be hit with those Gothic tones and textures. You are going to make your way towards the Music Plaza stage, and that tone and texture, and maybe the characters that surround you, the scenic elements, everything is going to carry that theme all the way through your journey. If you chose to take that right down Hollywood Boulevard, that theme is still there in a different way, but still taking on those tones, textures, environments, stained glass, still within that conservatory wall. And as we break through and go towards other areas of the park, you are going to feel those same textural tones in our lighting elements all around the park, in our overall music score that is all around the park. This year, our word of the year is immersive. We are immersing you in Horror Nights everywhere you go.
true. It's true. It's very big footprint this year, and it's very, very immersive. Thank you, Laura.
Hey, keyword everywhere you go. I got my eyes on you, Square Zone. All right, so classic creepiness is I'm thinking like combo of conservatory, like you said, and cemetery probably.
Let's hope that the Square Zone is actually a zone this year. I mean, the way that they're talking about as soon as you enter the park, I would hope that zone's going to be better this year.
Yeah, just fill in the gaps. Every between the zones there's like frills. So like if they can connect the dots, hey.
But
props.
They're talking about vines and gargoyles and stuff. I mean, that is kind of like what we were talking about with HHN22, how it was like root based, and that Michael
Yeah.
Aiello was possibly trying to bring something like that back. Maybe that is what's happening. A lot of hope is that they used to decorate the arches of Universal. They used to go all out and decorate the arches like crazy for Horror Nights, and now it's just like basic. It's like basic medallion with just the houses, like posters of the houses now. What if they like put a bunch of fake vines everywhere? That would be insane. Would they actually do that? Probably not, but wouldn't it be cool if they're talking about immersive? That would be pretty immersive if they were to, add those vines and gargoyles and we're entering
or maybe
that environment.
Even a mix of that, like to a minimum, to like be safe and like that it's realistic to do, and then a combo of projection mapping with it to blend it. That'd be neat,
right? Which they're probably gonna do. That's way more for sure. They'll probably do that than anything else.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind though the little accents, to bridge the reality and the fantasy. Mm-hmm. That's cool. Some vines, and then you don't have to go as all out like crazy if you can connect the. Yeah.
All right, James. Well, the next thing that was talked about was the house announcement.
The house? What we got?
I don't know how I should go about this. Should I play you what they talked about, or should I should just go into saying what was announced?
Well, what do they say? Do they give it away, or is it like a good guessing point?
No, they give it away what it is.
All right, well, you give me the IP or the thing. Whether it's an IP or whether it's original is what I mean.
It is an original. It is a non-P or whatever you called it.
All right. It's not holding your P in line. All right.
It was an original, so they did follow the same pattern as, Slaughter Cinema last year, which makes sense because it's an Orlando exclusive panel. So it wouldn't make sense to announce an IP that also has to do with Hollywood in Orlando. So it makes sense that they were announcing one of their originals.
And would that be brand spanking new original, like never seen?
Yes.
Or could it be a spinoff of one of their, their properties? No,
it is not. It could have been, yes, but this is okay. This is an original, and man, I am excited for this. This looks so freaking cool.
All right, so now I'm thinking gaps. What have they not done? What have they not touched? Let's see.
I mean, it's something. It has to do with something we've talked about in our spec episode. It was something that was speculated and talked about. It is something that you will probably enjoy. Let's play the audio of the announcement.
Awesome, thank you, Rob. Thank you.
Before you do another question, my watch is going off like crazy. Every third is a social media something about we're revealing something at the end of this panel, and we're not. I just want to say that right now. We're not revealing.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, it's been going crazy. Like I can't even listen to what people are just like. You're gonna reveal something. You're gonna reveal something.
Well, the good thing is nobody was expecting it.
No one's expecting a reveal. Hey, Ramon.
Yes?
You're not just the moderator of this panel.
Yes.
True. Yes, true.
Yes.
You're also a show director.
That's true.
Yeah.
Correct.
Do you want to reveal one of your haunted houses?
I kind of want to, but I'm not sure if they want.
I don't think they...
But I think you're right. I do think that we officially announced the first original haunted house for Halloween Horror Nights 34 right now! All right. Without further ado, it is my honor to announce the first original house for Halloween Horror Nights 34. the tragic ghost tale of a tortured artist consumed by evil. El Artista, a Spanish haunting.
Artista?
El Artista, a Spanish haunting.
Woo. Okay, El Artista. Wait, okay, this is related to... Is this the same guy, but like with a translated name, or is it like a related to it? Or
Oh, you mean the illustrator?
Yeah.
This is a whole new character, but it is an artist. You remember we were talking about Artist Goes Mad, kind of inspired by the Goya stuff?
Yeah.
That is what this house is, and...
Yeah, we got it. Cool.
This is connected to the overall theme of this year with the conservatory and the gargoyles and the vines. This is kind of what you would call the icon house, but we'll talk about that in a bit. Let's hear the rest.
This is the icon we're saying?
We'll talk about that in a sec.
Okay.
A place where dreams, sueños, come to blossom. A haven for the inspired. Un santuario that is cursed by tragedy and haunted by malevolent spirits. A forsaken void that calls out to the tortured artista with ill intent. Un lugar, a place that called to me, Sergio Navarro. With each passing day, their whispers grow louder. Sus susurros se hacen más fuerte. I feel them looming over my shoulder as I work, eager for their ghastly forms to be painted onto the canvas. And I can't resist. No puedo resistirlos. Tonight, los muertos, the ghosts, are more restless than ever. And my art, mi arte, will imitate their death.
All right, and just like that, we announce our first original house, El Artista, the Spanish haunting. We are very, very excited to be presenting this haunted house as part of our lineup for Halloween Horror Nights 34. To give you a brief synopsis of the story, set in the late 1800s in Spain, there is a famed artist by the name of Sergio Navarro, and he is kind of, his career is in a little bit of a dip. He's looking for some creative inspiration, so he relocates himself to this desolate manor in the middle of the woods called La Casa Creación, the Creation House, a place known as a creative hub for the tortured artist, but has quite a bit of legend behind it. Unbeknownst to him, the manor's grounds are infested by the spirits of artists that came before him and also moved to the manor. And there's a deeper sense of evil rooted deep within the manor grounds that exists mostly inside the conservatory. And within this conservatory, this deep sense of evil overtakes Sergio's mind, influencing his art, forcing him to paint these horrifying things that come to life. And the spirits want to use his artwork as portals to break into our world. So one night, when the veil is at its thinnest, Sergio has to overcome his own madness and the ongoing whispers of the ghosts as they proceed to break through his artwork, to use his artwork as portals, to set us forward into a haunting unlike any we've seen before. And that is the story of El Artista, a Spanish haunting. Getting an opportunity to work as the show director and writer of this story, of this haunted house, is the honor of my career, especially as a Latino, for all my Latino folks out there. It is a completely original tale that we're getting to tell. Sergio's story has never been told before. We're so excited to be presenting it. So many incredibly talented people came together, treated this project as a passion project. I want to give a shout out to my scenic design partner, Dylan Kolath, who is a mad genius. Stephanie Masco, our character designer, Emily Blumenauer, our costumer. So many incredibly talented people came together to present this story, and I'm very grateful for their partnership, and I cannot wait for you all to see the fruits of their labor.
Before we go further, it's interesting to note because we talked about overall thematic as well, and I think this is an important detail in the ways we can tell our stories. So again, we told you we all got together and figured out what's the tone and feel of the event. We defined those textures, and then we go to the team and define these textures to the team, and what comes out of that? Something like this. So, and then this actually backs back into some of the textures that you're going to see into the event. Not to say that this is the story of the event, but maybe to say that the event takes place within this story.
Yeah, absolutely. And the idea of horrifying paintings and artwork coming to life, that theme carries through too, and how we're executing that overall theme throughout the event. So the very first thing I'd love to talk about is the characters of the haunted house, right? So obviously we started with the character of Sergio. We wanted to ground him in some reality. We wanted to make him a really prominent character in the story because it is his story. So when it comes to the character design for that character, because it's set in the late 1800s, because it's set in Spain, we drew inspiration from all those textures to create and conceptualize his look, which is really, really cool. But then we have all the aggressors and the entities that are coming for Sergio, right? So when we knew we wanted to tell a ghost story, we wanted to really run the gambit on the different kinds of creatures and attackers we can see within the environment of a ghost story. You have spectral entities, right? Apparitions of ghosts that belong to the manor, the artists of the past. But then we wanted to play with, well, what if we had some creatures that were poltergeist creatures, right? Creatures that possessed Sergio's artwork and came to life and used his artwork as vessels for themselves to have tangible bodies as opposed to just being spectral entities, right? So the character design, again, huge shout out to Stephanie Mascow, Emily Blumenauer, and our entire character designer team who came together to present some really unique characters that we're featuring in this haunted house. Some of the mask designs, I'm not sure if that's one of the things we're showing you. Yeah, you're doing just fine. The mask designs are just incredible, and the costuming to complement it is just absolutely stunning, and I cannot wait for you all to see it as the story unfolds in the haunted house. Also, from a scenic standpoint, this house is just absolutely stunning. It is absolutely beautiful. Again, shout out to Dylan Kolath, our scenic designer. He was a designer of a little haunted house we know and love called Dead Man's Pier. And another one was Blood Moon Dark Offerings. So he's got quite the resume as well, and truly, you feel like you are inside this haunted Spanish manor. When it comes to the textures, we're seeing that Gothic stained glass feel throughout, but you're also, there's some Spanish colonial textures in there too, since it's set in Spain. So it is just beautiful in every kind of way, but don't be fooled, it is just as horrific as it is beautiful. With that in mind, talking about scenic, Melissa, I would love to throw it over to you. Talk to us a little bit about the scenic process for this house, kind of what Dylan went through, and seeing it from concept to reality.
Yeah, well, Dylan, not only is he just a great human and amazing to work with, he loves architecture. Particularly, he was so excited to get to work with Spanish architecture. Gaudi is one of his favorites of all time. So he was really able to take his lifelong love and something he was passionate about and infuse it into this house. Judging by the resume that Ramon just gave you, it might be kind of big. I guess we'll see. But really, it came with a story. They came with the story, and then Dylan just did this great job of building this. I don't want to give too much away, but just building this amazing space for this tale to unfurl.
There is attention to detail in every bit of the scenic design in this haunted house. There's things hidden in the textures of the walls. Truly, we've gone above and beyond to help tell that story, and we're so excited for you all to see it.
There's no nook, no cranny, no place in this house that wasn't thought about, and you guys are gonna hopefully love it as much or more than we do.
Laura, I'd love your thoughts on the scenic design and the execution of the house from a physical standpoint.
One of the things that I'm so excited about within El Artista Spanish Haunting is the graphics that you will see if you pay close attention as you are walking through this house. The story of artists who were striving to find their passion again as artists come to this house, this Spanish manor, and they're being possessed, and their works of art are being possessed by these haunting and these other artists that came before them. What I love about some of the works of art that you're going to see as you go through this Spanish Manor is that their works of art are going to come to life throughout all of the event. So if you pay close attention, if you go on the Unmasking the Horror tour,
Definitely recommend.
that Lights On tour, you might see some of the artwork that our graphic designers so brilliantly put together that kind of show some of the other things within our event.
Absolutely. I'd love to take a moment to talk about some of the effects that we're going to see in this house, because Dylan and I, when we were in the creative room thinking about this haunted house, the two of us are huge HHN fans, like I mentioned, right? We've been both going to the event for so long. So we wanted to draw inspiration from a lot of these kinds of ghost stories from the past, your Dead Ends, your Gothics, those kinds of textures. We wanted to take inspiration from some of those houses, but then also push the boundaries on how we achieve ghost effects in the haunted house. Some ways that we are achieving that. We all know and love the Pepper's ghost effect. There's a lot of Pepper's ghosts in this haunted house. We've got that going on. You're gonna physically see ghosts trying to burst through paintings, pushing through the canvas of paintings, and you may or may not see ghosts walking through walls. Can't confirm, but maybe. So that's just some of the examples on how we're really trying to push those boundaries from an FX standpoint to make you feel like you are walking alongside Sergio as this haunting is going from bad to worse. So you are walking with him step by step and seeing all the things that he's seeing as his haunting kind of comes to a head and grows out of control. We also have some awesome behind the scenes imagery from inside the haunted house that we'd love to show.
Yeah.
They may have already shown that.
They might have already shown it.
Oh, what do you guys think? So that's why they were so excited. And again, that's just scratching the surface. The house is absolutely beautiful, and once you see it all in full scale, we hope that you're going to love it.
And again, it goes back to what are the different ways we can tell our overall thematic. And again, there are many different Easter eggs, many different visuals in this house, because we were really inspired by the idea of this one place informing some of the content within the event, and vice versa. Again, how do we infuse the content back into this house? It's a really great method of being able to deliver items that we know the fans are going to want to dive into, but at the same time, deliver a house that is a true haunted house, and that all the other content in the event can kind of live within and surround themselves in. So we're able to achieve all levels of an integration of how any guests want to immerse themselves into this event.
But do they win? Do they go through the portals?
Did you get most of that though? Doesn't
Yeah.
that sound really awesome? So like the artist goes to this Spanish manor in the woods, and it's haunted by spirits of other artists who died there. My question is, are these artists, were they killed there? Or did they go mad just like he does? Is that the whole story behind this?
They're the final boss, dude. It's the gummed up super ghost, and he's gonna add to their power. They're gonna kill him and eat him. He's gonna join their team and fight the next artist that comes over.
Yeah. What really excites me is us personally, we haven't been to HHN and have seen an old school, like actual haunted house. This is like the
I
first
guess so.
haunted house, like haunted manor. I've seen that at like local
Like
haunts.
classic haunted mansion style, like
Yeah, that's kind of new for us. And let me tell you something that's even more exciting. They announced that the people behind this house are the same people that did Dead Man's Pier and Blood Moon, and it's going in the soundstage.
and they got their hands on a lickety split brand new spicking freshie. Ooh. They got talent on a newbie. That's some opportunity.
It also really excites me because it's all connected to the theme this year. Like they mentioned the conservatory is part of this house.
Yeah.
And it's also the whole overarching theme for HHN34. So
But
I'm
not
very
officially,
curious.
right?
No, it is.
But
What's not
icon.
really official is this character and icon, this artist that goes to the manor.
Hold on. So you're saying someone could be the overall icon, but they're not an official icon in
Okay,
the registrar?
let me explain this to you. So they're kind of beating around the bush of calling it an icon. That's what I'm trying to say. I think it
Yeah.
was last year they said they were doing away, or maybe it was 2 years ago, they were doing away with the word icon. They're not really icons anymore.
Is Oddfellow, or is he after that shift?
I think that was during the Oddfellow year where they said that. And
So
there
he's
was
the
a
last
little bit of
icon.
backlash, but they're still kind of keeping with that saying. Somebody asked at the panel, is this character our icon this year? And Michael Aiello had an answer. And I will play you
He
that
said,
answer.
"I can neither confirm nor deny con."
What I was wondering is, it looks like Sergio is possibly the icon for this year. Is there any, and usually in the past years, especially in the past years, icons have sort of influenced the scare zone. So is there any influence of the artist upon the scare zone this year? And what might the thought process be of what little pieces go into each scare zone from each icon?
That's a great question. I don't know if I have time to answer it fully. Here's what I would say. So the icon word is a heavy word, especially for this room. It's a heavy word because it means a lot of things. Here's what I can say about Sergio Navarro. He is a central character to our story this year. I'm not going to throw out the word icon because that is a word that you all can place on that character if you choose to, or if you choose not to. What I will say is we've identified this character as a way to tell our story this year. His influence is in the event in some capacity. It may not be the way an Oddfellow was in the event, or definitely not the way Jack the Clown is in an event. But again, it is us every year trying to determine what's the best method to tell a specific story. What I can say with this particular story and this particular character is there is a beginning, middle, and end to this story. And it resides within El Artista. How that permeates the rest of the event is a discovery that you can take on yourself and decide for yourself how you feel about Sergio Navarro.
Basically, he's saying that it's up to us. It's up to whatever we think he is.
Boo.
And everybody's going to say he's an icon. So, yes, he is the main character of this year.
No,
is basically
wait.
what's going on.
Hold on. If someone is the main theme of a thing, how is that up for debate if he's the icon or not?
For some reason they're trying to get rid of the name icon. I don't know why that's a thing, but that's why they're beating around the bush that he's the icon. But it's looking like, yes, he is the icon. They're basically saying he is the main character. It's his story that's revolving around the overall
Can you
theme
do
this year.
that? Can you just have a throwaway icon that's not an icon? It was just like we're gonna pass over that one, and it's not in the list.
Here's what I have to say about that. It can't be any worse than last year's icons. They had nothing to do with anything. They were just kind of thrown in there.
Are they icons? They are.
Technically, they were, because they were the main characters.
I don't like that. I don't like the wishy-washiness, like, because then that's gonna set a thing. Like, I guess. Oh, I know why they're doing it. Because if it flops, then they don't have to have responsibility on it. Because then the people can just be like, "Oh, that one didn't count," and they'll agree with them. They'll be like, "Okay, that one wasn't that great. We'll move on to some greatness."
The reason why I think that they're trying to get rid of the word icon is because icons were also associated with the marketing back in the day. Like, they used the icons to market the event, and now they don't, because first of all, the event doesn't need the icons for marketing anymore because it's so popular. That was always a push. Like, the first icon was Jack, and everybody hates clowns, scared of clowns, so they pushed a clown on the event, and that's what got people there.
Are they trying to be marketable more as a platform for icons than make their own? It's like less work.
To me, they're just
on
doing it for the fans now. Like, if there is an icon for whatever year, it's basically for the fans, because the regular average person is not going to care or even probably notice that there's an icon. They'll just see this character in a house and say, "Oh, that's cool."
Yeah. If someone's there just once and not every single year, and it's not going to register that that's a changing thing all the time.
Yeah, exactly. They used to be included in marketing, and they don't do that anymore. And now it's just part of the story for this year now. So
okay, well,
I think
that's
why they're trying to get rid of icon.
I can accept that. I guess it's weird, but I'll move on.
That's my spec, though. I'm not like, don't anybody listening, don't take that as like fact. I'm just
sure.
That's what I'm thinking. I don't know. Maybe somebody can correct us in the comments or something. But yeah,
Well, I want to know Wycon, and if someone can tell me.
there is a small little blurb when they did post the announcement on Twitter. El Artista, a Spanish haunting. In 19th century Spain, a tortured artist moves into an isolated country manor for inspiration, but the art comes alive and possesses him.
What if it's crappy little doodles? What are the artworks like the Spy Kids that came to life in the first movie? They're all like Play-Doh creatures. Eek. Okay. Spanish mansion. Spansion. I need me some Spanish rice. That's all I'm saying. This is completely unrelated from the Killustrator.
Yeah, this is original.
Okay.
This is our icon.
Oh, okay. Hey, who's that? The Weekday?
He does kind of look like the Weekend. Oh my God. We are not making fun of him. Make fun of him.
Hey, so his description, they're saying it like it's fact, but for all we know, it's in his head, right? That's not true. It could all still be hallucinations.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, it could be. We're gonna basically be walking by his side, like we're seeing what he's seeing
Yeah.
in this
Oh,
manner, and we could be witnessing him going crazy.
you know how they should do it? You know, it'd be cool. A tape recorder, you know? Because we're not gonna follow him like a tour guide in there. So if we're like walking in his footsteps while he's recording, like we're, found footage style, that'd be neat.
I mean, I picture we're gonna see his descent into madness, kind of. But the fact that he mentioned that there's going to be some cool effects where ghosts are going to be popping out of paintings, and there's going to be effects where it looks like ghosts are walking through walls.
Yeah.
I think this house is going to be, it's going to be next level. It's going to be amazing. I can already see it. It's going to be a beautiful house. Like they already said, the set design for this house is going to be top notch. In fact, there's a quoted post on Twitter.
Hey, well, they kept this one under wraps, right? I mean, like only the art rumor got out, but for the most part, they kept it ghost to the chest, huh? They kept it pretty ghost to the chest, close to the chest.
Keep working on the joke, man. It'll
Yeah.
be okay. It'll be okay. Okay, so Jordan A. Hill, who is a video editor, animator, and designer for Universal Orlando Entertainment.
Jordan Hill, shout out.
He said, he retweeted the announcement, and he said, I don't say this lightly. This is easily in the top 3 prettiest houses ever built. Every time I'm in there, I find something new. The scale is just incredible.
Hey, that means more coming from an artist. That guy's an animator, right? You said?
Yeah.
Ooh.
So the fact that he's saying this is one of the prettiest houses ever built, and the scale of it is insane, dude. And it's in an old like manor, and it's just creepy ghost spirits, and I'm ready, dude. So they revealed this ghost lady in white, and I think
where'd they get that?
I think this is her. She's gonna look like in the house.
Whoa. Wait, who is that?
This is this ghost spirit lady right there. And then there's some kind of gargoyle creatures that they shared.
So these are not leaked, right? These are permission, and this is the first release.
Yeah, these are announced at the panel. So Attractions Magazine on Twitter said Sergio Navarro from today's revealed house can be considered an icon if you'd like, but they're not using him that way in a traditional sense.
Hey, so some big news to lose minds over. People losing their minds. I heard those reactions. I heard some reactions a couple of days ago just to some trusses or to some fixture thing, and people were like losing it.
That happens every year where there's the construction updates. The very first things that go up are those the lighting rig things, towers, and yeah, people.
Maybe it's not relatable to y'all, but from my perspective, you see a fixture, it doesn't look too eventful, and then people are like losing their everything, just like to their core. They're like, it's cool. It's a visceral reaction. I like it.
So overall, what are your thoughts on this? Like we got pretty much theme reveal. We got this house that's connected to the overall theme with a pretty much an icon. Sergio Navarro is our icon this year. If we want to believe he's an icon, apparently is what they told us. It's up to us.
Yeah, I'm happy. We got an artist represent, and on top of that, he's one of us. He's a Hispanic. He's a Spanish. I like it. But dude, Antonio Banderas, like we got an Evil's Row. Sounds like, and he's an artist. Just by the voice, I'm basing. No, I'm into it.
What I hope is they do the same thing with Oddfellow, where they put him in the front zone and maybe make that front zone kind of like a cemetery or something, like that is like outside of the manor. Like the entry zone is some kind of like cemetery that he's roaming around in outside of the manor, and then the entrance to the house could be going into the manor out from the cemetery.
I
Because
hope they make him kind of colorful, a little bit of color.
well, I just showed you what he looks like. That's what the character looks like.
We'll add some splotches.
Oh, I got
That's what
you.
I say.
Okay, I got you.
Some colors, cool, messy.
But I'm super excited. I think this is a good sign for this year. It has a lot of potential to be very close to what 32 was. And I straight up think this is, especially the house, very much seems like an old school HHN house that like more akin to like stuff we never got to see, like just stuff I've researched and seen people talk about. So I'm excited. I'm ready to experience this. I know it's going to be a beautiful house and it's going to be well done. So it's in a soundstage. We get an icon house in a soundstage, and I'm so stoked. The next question is, when are the next announcements? Last year, they announced Slaughter Cinema 2 at the panel, and then that following Monday, 3 days later, they announced another house, and then they announced all the originals one by one every day that week. Are they going to do that again starting on Monday? Are we going to get more of the originals?
I know that was rare form, huh? They did a Steven bomb, as they say. Steven Universe. Speaking of Jason Universe, they used to do a week drop at a time, and that was a big event. So the daily drops, it's not unheard of.
So I'm going to tell you this, James. Be ready, because there could possibly be original houses announced every day again next week. We could be doing a short episode a day again.
Hey, and I'm not the only one that said the Steven Universe thing. I saw that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Same cadence. They're cousins.
Before we go, there is one more thing that I want to show you that Michael Aiello talked about. It was a question about Five Nights at Freddy's, if it was going to be a house this year. They are still beating around that bush, but his answer was pretty funny. For some reason, they're waiting to announce that it's a house. However, the Hollywood guys kind of leaked that it was a house, but Orlando's still kind of beating around the bush that it's a house. So
You know what I would love? Make it a bouncy house with a ball pit.
That'd be kind of scary, honestly.
With machines. Ooh, they're heavy and they're sharp. Dude, that would be a nightmare. Has there been? I think there's been not like a scary movie, but there's been movies where the thing deflates. They should make a horror movie with a bouncy house.
Oh no!
Ooh, a tractor.
It's a killer bouncy house where like the opening where they go in's the mouth and they just goes around jumping around eating kids, kind of like the Killer Tire movie.
Yeah, I was thinking of the tire, and I was thinking what not supernatural, but if a tractor just clips the edge of it and now it's dragging with a kid in the tractor getting reeled in like.
Okay, let me play you this clip when somebody asked about Five Nights at Freddy's. This was Michael Aiello's answer.
Will Five Nights at Freddy's be a haunted house, or how will it be brought to the event this year?
It's going to be there.
We have officially announced that Five Nights at Freddy's will be part of Halloween Horror Nights on both coasts. We have not officially said how that will be a part of the event.
But it will be there.
But it will be in the event, and what I can tell you, it's going to be cool. It's going to be fun, and what I can tell you is it is going to look identical to how that franchise looks. Identical. The characters will look identical to how they appear in the Blumhouse Five Nights at Freddy's film. I got the thumbs up from PR.
bright lights that came on, that was PR making sure we were staying in line.
I think he kept looking over to his boss, being sure like what I'm
Oh.
saying is okay. I'm beating around this bush, but I'm letting them know what it is at the same time.
Hey, they better look like 1-for-1 to a T. I mean, if the Jim Hensons are working on it,
but
they
no,
got their hands
the joke
free.
is that the joke is that he can't say that it's a house, but he's trying to say they're going to look. You're going to see them just like the movie, so it's going to be in a house, basically, without saying it's in a house.
I guess I should have heard the glances. I can hear him like looking over your shoulder.
But that is basically all we could talk about right now.
Yeah, I was just saying the Five Nights, they're definitely gonna look good because Jim Henson's working on them.
But yeah, that's all we could talk about for HHN34 updates so far. There's obviously going to be more very, very soon. They're kind of kicking these out pretty quickly, and like I said, there could be one after another next week. We could get all the originals dumped on us this coming week, so we shall see. I'm getting super pumped for HHN34. It's looking like it's going to be a really good year with all this immersive talk, the overall theme being connected to a house. We're getting an icon sort of in that house. I think we got a fun time on our hands. HHN34 could be special. Really, really showing that Michael Aiello is back. Like, this is actually, I don't know. All I'm getting at is it's looking good. It's looking really good.
Michael Aiello, Michael, how you do? Okay, yeah, good year coming. Like I was gonna say, that crowd sounds like they're all, they all got champagne glasses. They're cozy. I'll tell you what it reminds me of. Have you ever seen the panels where it's like a very exclusive small group with Tyler the Creator and stuff like that, and it's like a like less than an hour long panel, and there's just Q&A. It's very sophisticated, and that sounded like a little sophisticated insiders club kind of like VIPs. I mean, there's the head of the heads trying to say what they can't in front of the super fans. That's as insider club as it gets. That's very nice. That's cool.
Here's the last thing I'll say before we go. I'm actually really hoping this year's going to be a banger because you were so adamant last year, seeing how everything was just kind of lower budget and it wasn't as good as 32. Like you kept saying for some reason that you were expecting this to be the new normal. And I hope that this year is banger, so that idea is just thrown out of your head.
It's a temporary thing. It was
Does
just
that make
the
sense?
kickoff for Epic.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm hoping there's no restrictions this year. I hope it's like full force, big budget, which sounds like it. If they're putting us in a big immersive environment, I would expect some money being put into these scare zones, into these houses. With the team saying that this is one of the prettiest houses they ever made, I'm expecting it to be crazy detailed. And that's what was lacking. That's what was lacking last year. Last year, the amount of immersion and detail was not there, not anywhere near what it usually is. Let's just
Now,
hope.
when you say you're expecting it, though, I obviously we're entitled to it because of the promises and stuff. But expecting, like, you think realistically they're going to deliver it. That's what it sounds like expecting means in this context, right?
I mean, I would
Like
hope so. They're pushing it so hard, right? So, I mean,
yeah. I don't know if there's any skepticism on my part from the last year or anything. I guess I just got overspoiled with the oddball guy. That wasn't
Oddfellow?
even like, yeah, Oddfellow. I wasn't even like obsessed with him. I was just going through it, and then afterwards, I was like, hey, that all kind of
But it was a
that
great
works.
year. He was a great character. He was involved
Yeah,
in all the zones. He had his house.
and that's me as a neutral party, not judging, not really critiquing, just going through, and then afterwards, like that really worked.
Yeah.
And I don't
And
know
the
if anything is
problem
gonna beat that.
and the problem was that last year was kind of a mess. The zones weren't cohesive. The characters, Sinister and Surreal, didn't even really fit in for
Yeah.
anything. And it was just, and I've heard this from other people, like it was almost like all the creative team and all the different parts didn't talk to each other last year. Like it was all just completely not even close to being connected. So
Yeah.
that's what it seemed like. And it seems like this year they're going back to the way it should be. It also looks like they're going back to the old school days. And that's just me hoping. The event could come around and it's nothing like I'm expecting it, but I'm hoping it is like the old days, because that's how it sounds.
Well, one thing I was just going to say, it kind of tying into Melissa about the layered nature of the creative process in all aspects of what we do. It also keys into the overall thematics as well. Those stories that we want to tell each year, they have to serve a lot of people. Because again, everyone in this room I would consider probably the hardcore fans of Halloween Horror Nights. And that is the audience that we are thinking about constantly. You have no idea how often we bring you up in the best ways as we're doing these creative brainstorms. It really is about dissecting what we did. That's the true other great thing about it, is we get to do it again every year and try and figure out what did we do great, what didn't we do so great, and how can we improve those things. You all are thought about so much in this process. At the same time, we have to be able to design content that is for the person that's coming to the event, maybe for the first time, that wants to grab a beer and go into a haunted house. That's all they want to do. They just want to get scared and leave. We have to think about that audience as well. So as we're developing these stories and these textures, it has to serve all of those masters. We're able to, I'm gonna use some marketing terms, the waders, those are the people that only go this deep in the water, right? And us in here, we're underneath holding our breath for 2 minutes, maybe trying to get to 3 minutes if we can. So we're constantly thinking about that barometer as we're creating all of this content.
Yeah, I think I agree with the hope that we share the hope, but the vibes that he's describing, it sounds like he's talking about classic Halloween vibes, and hopefully that applies to classic HHN as well. If we're going for classics, you want to do the stuff that works. I mean, the stuff that has lasted for a reason. It's the Halloween aesthetic for a reason. It was established way back then, and we're trying to emulate that in the place that it originated. So yeah, classics are for a reason, so follow through.
Best thing to do is stay positive. We're going to have a great
Deliver.
year. This year shall be a banger. It's going to be a banger.
Well, yeah.
Thank you all so much for listening to the episode. We really hope you enjoyed our discussions here. Hope you guys are excited, or as excited as we are. It shall be a good time. If you enjoyed this episode, please give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or anywhere else that you listen to podcasts. It would be much appreciated. It helps us out a lot. And follow us on our Instagram, our Twitter, our Threads, and our Blue Sky at HHN Obsession. And give us a comment on Spotify, YouTube, anywhere else, any other social media platform, and tell us what you guys think about the announcement and everything else that's coming to the event. We'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yes, stay tuned, stay invested. I feel for y'all who can't go, and we're doing our best to keep you in the loop and emulate the experience. So yeah, y'all be excellent to each other
and stay immersed.
You're damn right. Just wait a while, giving you the hip at your face now. Wait a while, giving you the hip at your face now. Wait a while, giving you the hip at your face now. Wait a while, giving you the hip at your face now. Wait a while.
Hey everyone, just wanted to give a quick shout out to my good friend Zach Weber, who provided our intro and outro song, Heebie Jeebies. You can listen to the full version of Heebie Jeebies on iTunes, Spotify, Pandora, or anywhere where you listen to your favorite music. Thanks for listening.